Good morning. Happy Monday, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
No, it was good. And sorry, I think my voice sounds a little funny. I have a little bit of a head cold. So I spent my weekend just like relaxing and watching like basketball games on TV with my kids. And we watched the Super Bowl. And it was nice. I mean, it's beautiful weather here in Arizona. So I'm like soaking it all up.
Yeah, it is great weather right now. Well, good. I mean, I'm sorry you're sick, but thanks for being here,
Of
and
course.
I'm glad you got to have a little bit of a relaxing weekend.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
It was busy, but it was just work oriented and but it was a great weekend because I got to create content for the shift course, the Angel Net. It's going to be an Angel Meet Your Angel Team course that comes out in April. It's going to go live, a 7-week live course. So I was working on that this weekend and I was doing interviews. So I have something fun to kind of announce.
Oh,
I
good.
adding on, I know, starting March, I am going to be adding on a Conversations in the Light with Michelle Clare segment that will release on Fridays. And so I'm interviewing some of the most amazing people. Some of them are psychic mediums. Yesterday, I interviewed a priest, Father Nathan, who helped souls transition on the other side. So, not from human form to spirit, but spirit into the light. And just on and on. I've got Brian D. Smith, who is a grief coach. He's a very amazing human. So, anyway, just lots of people, and I'm really excited. So, I'm getting to start that now, and we'll start rolling those out in March. So, everyone will have to pay attention because there's going to be some great people that are really going to help you control where you want to be in life and move forward from whatever your situation may be.
That's really exciting, Michelle. I look forward to that.
Yeah, thanks. Me too. Well, I want to start with an angel message today because this is Valentine's week. It's all about love, 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 and the love, right? So this morning, the message was coming in really strong about when we think of love, we usually think romantic love. And especially with it being Valentine's week, it's romantic love week. But the angel's message is really about loving ourselves first. So I know we talk about this all the time on this show about being a vibrational match. So whether you are with your soulmate, your partner, or you are in this space where you're looking for that person, it really is all about how you love yourself first and foremost. And really, they were being very clear. Like some of the ways we show ourselves love is easy. Like quit talking so bad to yourself, go to bed 20 minutes early, skip lunch with the friend, you have too much to do, whatever it is, right? But they were just talking about really allowing ourselves to put ourselves first right now in a place of love. And the other thing that was coming through with that was discernment. So I know a lot of people are kind of shaken up with everything that's coming out with the Epstein files and all of the names and things like that. And a lot of people are shocked that there are some spiritual gurus and people on there. And this is why Spirit has been saying all along since 2025, learning to trust yourself and discernment is the most important thing because no one is closer to God's source, the divine, than you. You have your own relationship, and we're at a point in history where we've got to learn to trust ourselves. I'm not saying if you find going to a church service, like beneficial and you like that, do it. But just know, no one's more connected to source than you.
I love that, Michelle. You know, it's so interesting as you were talking about the month of February and self love. I had a women's group over last week that I was kind of mentoring, and the theme of our weekend was self love. And we talked about that very thing. So definitely, Spirit is running strong with that theme of remembering love yourself during the month of February.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of for all of us to practice. The other thing I want to announce, which is kind of fun, is this necklace. This is part of the Sedona Vortex collection. So Sedona Crystal Vortex is letting me wear this piece today. But I would say look at their website. If you order online, there's a discount code that Aiden's going to put in the links below. But they have a lot of amazing crystals and stones and jewelry and all of that. So one of my favorite places right now. And then one more thing I'd love to share with everyone. when somebody books an individual reading with me, because a lot of times, one of the things I love, actually last week, I probably had about 5 different people say to me in a reading, I want to on Monday. Thank you. I love that, right? But I do want to say to people who are curious about what does an individual reading with me look like, it is similar to the Mondays, but it's different. We're going to go a lot more in depth. We're going to go in depth with your loved ones in spirit, with your soul plan, with your angels, with your questions, with your life guides. One-on-one readings with me are really very interactive. And so it's really a great time for you to show up with the questions that you have in your life or the people that you want to connect to, and really give yourself that opportunity to take that time for you and dive in more deeply. So again, maybe an act of self-love. If you feel like you need to book, I would love to read for you.
Yeah, and I can say I've had the opportunity to have lots of readings by Michelle, and if you're at all like thinking about it, it's really life-changing. And it's you might not have anyone on the other side that you're wanting to connect with, but it can be your angels, your guides. If you're struggling with anything in your life, it definitely helped me get through a lot of hard times in my life when I had my readings with Michelle. So highly recommend them.
No, thanks, Heather. Well, all right. Do we have questions today?
We do have questions. So thank you so much to everyone for writing in your questions. We appreciate it so much. And like always, I will start with our members' questions. So thank you so much for being members. So our first question today is, what energy is unfolding for me this week? And where is unexpected good news most likely to come from? Thank you for all you do.
Oh, well, thank you. So I am feeling an unfolding into, I almost want to say like better health, but it might not just be better physical health. It feels like it could be mental health, right? Thursday is a big day for you this week. So I don't know what's happening on Thursday for you, but the energy is kind of like that's the day where you really step into, I feel good in life. I'm loving myself. I'm owning myself. Your guides are coming in saying that that's going to be the day where you really embrace the fact that everything's getting ready to work out for you this year. So the other thing that they're wanting to acknowledge is that you've done a lot of self-work and you've done a lot of improvements is kind of what I want to say. They're calling it like home renovations, right? And we kind of do that on ourselves, body, mind, and spirit. And so yours are just getting ready to pay off. A lot of light, a lot of love coming in for you around Thursday this week.
Oh, that sounds exciting. And like always, I love when people follow up when Michelle gives a reading or some insight, and then they like send us an email or something and let us know what happens. So we'd love to know what happens for you on Thursday.
Keep us posted.
Yeah. Our next question. I'm looking for an online part-time job. Am I going to get any luck? If yes, what might be the timeline for me? And will it be good for me?
Yeah. So I'm hearing, yes, I am hearing we're looking at the 2nd to the 3rd week of March. And I would tell you, it doesn't feel like your dream job, but it feels like it's, I want to use the word like standard. It works. It's what you're expecting. And so we're looking 2nd to 3rd week of March. And it feels like for you, this is kind of a stepping stone. This is where you're going to be for a year or so. But I feel like you're going to move on, because one of the things that's happening right now, your guides are saying, is that your soul's kind of getting ready to ask for more. And this is happening around the planet right now. People are getting restless in their lives with people, places, and situations, because on a universal level, humanity's getting ready to up level. And that's why all of the junk has to happen right now. That's why we have to see all of the dark corners that people haven't wanted to look at, right? So that's kind of coming into the process. And with that being said, this job feels like it'll be stable and secure. I feel like you'll have it for a year, but then I feel like you're going to be ready for more.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Hi, if some souls have life plans to experience difficult things like being assaulted, and another soul agreed to being the assaulter, what happens to the assaulter's soul?
Okay. You know what? I love this question. And it's a really good question. And I want to say this. You're not going to like my response, because the human side of me doesn't like this response either. I'm just going to be really clear, because as humans, we do need to be committed to making this world a better place. Abusing each other, abusing children, animals, like none of that is okay. However, on a soul level, when we come in with a soul plan, of, I'm going to, suffer some type of abuse in this life. And let's say your father's an alcoholic and he beats you and verbally abuses you or something like that. His soul agreed before both of you came in that he would play that role in your life. And you agreed to be the person receiving that. Now, because of that, on a soul level, this is why I will tell you very often, I do not feel there is a hell. There are souls burning in hell. Number one, every soul is created by God, source, the divine. And then the other reason for that is because our soul plans that we choose before we come to planet Earth are blessed by God, source, the divine. So to live in contrast or have the experience in contrast that we have in the human form, we have to have challenges and negative, what we'd call negative things happen. Otherwise, it would be just like the heavenly realm where we're like, well, everything's perfect. What do you want to do? Go sit by the beach again today, have another margarita. I mean, I don't know, right? So we have to have those challenges. The other things that I want to say, because Spirit keeps like dropping this into my mind. So let's talk about something really challenging about two different things that they're showing me to say. One is cancer. So we have this disease that people have. Sometimes they are able to overcome it. Sometimes they transition from it, but there are different outcomes that happen. Sometimes it gives them this beautiful second shot at life because they're like, maybe they were going along not feeling good and all of a sudden they get some type of cancer and they decide they're going to overcome it and they're going to live and they're going to thrive. So cancer in itself, we would all consider a negative thing, but there are people here on this planet that turn it into a positive thing. The other thing about cancer is we have, I don't know, let's just guess, 2 million scientists right now trying to learn how to cure it. If cancer didn't exist, those 2 million souls would not have a soul plan on how they were going to cure cancer, right? So we have the good and the bad, the contrast of planet Earth. The other example that I want to give with this, because this is a really in-depth question, and I'm going to be really clear, human Michelle wrestles with this too, but I understand the soul side of it, and I know that my soul chose the traumas and tragedies that I've had. But the other example would be like, let's say somebody who passed in a war, right? What we don't maybe realize on the human side, because obviously there's profound grief with that, is that soul came in, had a plan, and wanted to leave as a hero for their country. That was how that soul wrote their life plan, right? And so that doesn't mean there's not grief and trauma and tragedy for everyone around and who loves that person. But also that soul is kind of in heaven. And I'm going to say this, like they get to heaven and they're kind of telling their war stories. They're like, oh yeah, well, guess how I died? Well, a car wreck. Oh, that's pretty boring. Like, don't you have something better than that, right? And so there is that part because your soul knows that you're eternal, that death is an illusion. And at the end of the day, what it is the story that we chose to play and the character that we chose to play in this life. And that does not take away the amount of pain and guilt and trauma and tragedy we have here. But I want to use this really good example. Then we'll get to the next question, but that was so good. Spirit's just like downloading. So I believe in reincarnation. And I don't care if you believe in it or not. I mean, it's okay. But I will tell you that I'm only going to have one opportunity to play this role as Michelle Clare. And it's happening now. So whether I think I'll come back later as someone else, or I think I'm going to be done, it doesn't matter because I really only get one shot at this lifetime of who I am today. But when I think of our souls, I want you guys to think about going to the movies, and I want you to think about the screen, okay? This screen has many, many different movies that are projected on it. Some of them are really heartbreaking. Some of them are hilarious. Some of them are boring. Some of them, right, all across the board. But at the end of the day, we're never the movie. We were always the screen. And so we're learning from the projection of what our soul chose to experience.
Thanks, Michelle. What a great question.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. And obviously Spirit did too, because they jumped right in.
Yeah, lots of good information from Spirit for sure. Okay, our next question is from one of our members. My sister Claire lost her best friend Grace on Friday. They were together the previous weekend. My sister is in complete shock and grief. Any message from my sister's guides?
Yeah. Actually, I'm getting messages from Claire, so I want to go with Claire, and we'll see if your sister's guides check in. Um, a reason, a season, a lifetime. So sometimes the biggest loves in our life do not get to last the whole lifetime, whether this is a friend, a child, an animal, whatever it is, right? And so I want to really say she's showing me a ton of butterflies. So butterflies are definitely going to be a sign from her. And I'm hearing like music, but it specifically sounds like it is a piano playing. Like if you just heard someone play 3 or 4 keys on a piano. So there's going to be some music that she is sending her, but it's going to just be like that. She might be like, why do I feel like I just hear 3 or 4 keys on a piano? But that's the energy that she's saying. The other thing that I want to say, it's almost like she's saying, they lived, and I want to use the word hard, but I mean it in a good way. I mean it more like full. They lived a full relationship. They had so much beauty between them, very sisterly type relationship. And her soul wanted to, I guess I want to say, leave on a good note or a high is the energy that I'm getting with her right now. So please let your sister know, although she's like in the trauma, and this is the point where when we're in this level of trauma, it is literally survival mode, and it's just take a breath, take a step. Did you eat today? Like that type of basic survival. But as she moves through this grief a little more, she's going to see a lot of signs and a lot of connection. And not just for her, but for anyone who's missing someone right now, just know that the love, the relationship, and the communication, it does continue on.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. My mother died on 7/11/2025 with much suffering. How is she now? Is she okay?
Yeah, well, she's showing me dancing. So the first thing I feel like is she's just kind of like up there dancing and moving around. So absolutely she is okay. Realize this, when we have really challenging ways that we leave our body and there's a lot of suffering and things like that. I mean, and I watched that with my mom. My mom fought breast cancer for 20 years, and the last 5 years were really hard for her. Right. So I've seen that. But here's the thing. There's such beauty in that graduation. And by the time somebody has physically suffered and they get to leave their body and step into the light, here comes the energy. I'm 30, I'm living the dream, right? And that's where they get to go. So your mom is doing amazing. Your mom is telling me she plays with your electricity to let you know that she's around. But she's also doing things like tapping. So she's making noises coming from the inside of the wall or the structure. You might hear tapping. You might think you have a loose water pipe or something like that. This is just your mom saying, I'm right here. I'm right here. But her energy is literally just dancing and vibrant.
Thanks, Michelle. I love all the different ways that spirit tries to communicate with us and our loved ones. All right, our next question. Hi, Michelle. Will my daughter be offered the job she just interviewed for? And will it be a good fit? Also, will I get my promotion?
So I got 2 thumbs up. So it's interesting because they showed me 2 thumbs up, but I feel like yes for your daughter and yes for you. So it feels like both of these jobs are going to come into alignment. These jobs are, with what the guides are saying, very much aligned with the two of you and kind of the next steps that you want to take professionally. So it feels like those are both yeses.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. Our next question. I'm about to get into college. Which subject do my guardian angels see me studying for the next 5 years? Also, I'm having some health issues. Any advice on that?
Yeah. So 2 things. That is really a big question, right? Because you're like, what am I going to do? Well, here's the thing, and we've talked about this with other people. This person has very much a healing energy about them. So I see them going into college to be some type of healer. You could become a pharmacist, you could become a doctor, you could become a psychotherapist, right? There's like all of these things. So whatever path that you're looking at, I feel like you're stepping into the healing role, which is interesting because then also you are talking about having some health issues right now. So with the health issues, I want to say this, really notice where you are emotionally or the old bags that you're carrying, right? Because for me, I feel like I don't know. I just feel like there's a weight I've been carrying behind me for a long time when I'm in your energy, and it's asking for your attention. I don't know if there are some GI issues too going on, but the guides are making my GI system light up. So I would tell you there could be some food allergies also connected to this.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Hi, Michelle. How much longer might I be living in the state of Illinois?
Yeah. So I'm getting, I feel like you're going to stay there through this year. I feel like in 2027, the guides are showing me that you're going to have more. It's kind of like you start seeing spring in other areas, but I feel like that's more like the spring of your life or the next time you're going to really connect with that energy. So I feel like this year you're kind of there and you're planning your departure, but it feels like it's going to be really 2027 when you head out.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Hi, Michelle. One of me and my partner's dreams is to open an animal sanctuary sometime in the future. Do you see that happening for us?
I do feel that's going to happen. So it's interesting because the way they're showing it to me, it's not just, dogs and cats. It's like, oh, and here's a little donkey, and here's, I just feel like it's kind of like a little menagerie type energy. So it does feel like that's going to happen for you. I want to put that at about maybe 3 years away.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. I'm having some reoccurring relationship issues with a friend. I don't understand her intentions sometimes, but she's very dear to me. Am I overthinking, or is there something I should do?
Okay, so I love that the word intention is in here because this is so important. The intention behind people's actions say everything. So sometimes we do things that hurt people and it's literally not our intention. Like maybe I'm just spouting off and I say something and I hurt someone's feelings. That wasn't my intention. I was in my own little story or storm in those moments, right? So intention is everything. And if you have a clear read on her intention, then what you get to do when you realize they're not trying to hurt you, because I don't feel like she's trying to hurt you or be malicious. I feel like she's wrapped up in her own story. And one of the challenges of being human is we're so good about making everything about us. Like, I could be like, well, Heather has a cold this weekend, but that's all about me because she didn't want to come over and hang out. You know what I mean? Like I could literally make your cold story about me if I wanted to. And so that's kind of what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like truly this friend has the right intention, but this friend is wrapped up in her story. So here's what happens. You get to choose if you want to internalize her story and make it about you, or if you just want to see that she's wrapped up in her story. When someone is wrapped up in their story, we can give them loving nudges. And, sometimes I literally say to people, I'm like, well, that's a terrible story. They'll be like, oh, this is happening and that. I'll be like, well, that's a terrible story, kind of like as a joke, but also to be like, look at the story you're telling yourself. And that's where I feel like she's at. So this isn't about you. Having said that, you do need to have boundaries and not put yourself in places where you're not appreciated. But I don't feel like her intention is to hurt you.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. I have never figured out my passion. I guess with raising kids and now grandkids, I haven't worked on myself much. Will you ask my guides what I should be doing? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, so it's kind of funny because your guides are like, well, you're doing your passion. You love kids. You loved raising your kids and you love raising your grandkids, right? It's wonderful. We need to have something for ourselves. So with you, I feel like this is really what they're saying right now. You are living your passion because you are getting to do things that you love. You got to be a mom and now you're getting to be a grandmom. Would it be nice for you to take up painting or, whatever it is, going for a walk or whatever you like? Yes. And you should do that. But don't underestimate the fact that you're living your passion right now. Hey, Heather and I were both stay-at-home moms for a long time. I am not kidding. There is no harder job because you are the janitor, the laundry lady, the cook, the nurse, the tutor, the on and on and on meanwhile you're trying to keep the house going. You know what I mean? So just know that what you've done is you've fed into beautiful lives that are better because you've been part of it. And your guides are telling me this is part of your passion. But yeah, there's something about creativity. And so with that, they keep taking me to like, where you can go to the little art shops on Friday night and have a glass of wine with the women and do a painting and things like that. Give yourself the opportunity to go play a little bit, but don't devalue that you are living part of your passion and purpose.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Hi, Michelle. Will I find a job soon? Hoping in this month.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be coming in March. So you might get the final paperwork for it and then you start in March. But March has a lot of energy. So really looking into that. It's not too far away, though, a few weeks.
Thanks, Michelle. Next question. My friend Mary passed away in September. I just like to know, is heaven what she thought it would be?
I love that. So I want to say yes, but then I need to follow that up with kind of a couple things here. So when we transition to the other side, very often we're going to find what we're looking for. So if you're going and you're expecting oceans, you're going to be met with oceans. And I'm going to tell you why, because heaven is all about love and compassion and comfort. So if you're going and you're like, no, I know that it's going to be fields of flowers, you're going to be met. In the first place, you're going to open your eyes is going to be in these fields of flowers with your loved ones around you, because it's all about love, compassion, and comfort. So when people are, it's interesting with her. I want to say this because she just said, tell her it's better than I imagined. So I need to tell you, heaven was a lot better than she was imagining it would be, or whatever her visual was. But with that, people are always met with love, grace, compassion. And so Heather and I will probably not end up in the exact same spot at first when we get there, because whatever, I know where you're going to Lake Powell heaven. I'm going to be in Maui heaven. But at some point, we're going to cross paths,
Absolutely. We'll find each other again.
We will.
All right. Our next question. My nephew Mark transitioned in his sleep at 36 years old in 2019. What was the cause, and does he have any messages for his dad? Thanks for all that you do.
Yeah, so he literally takes me to his heart. So I want to talk about with his heart. I almost feel like a short circuit type energy. So I don't know that he had heart problems that were diagnosed, but it's almost like I just feel like it's not a heart attack. It's like short circuit is the way I'm feeling. So I want to acknowledge that, like it just stops. So I need to acknowledge no suffering, no pain. Like I'm here and now I'm there. It's a very easy transition. And the message is for his dad. He sends his dad so many license plates, things with the TV, electrical in the house. I feel like the TV should turn on by itself 10 times a day because I keep seeing TV. The other thing I would say with that are like ads and commercials are probably like ones where it's like, oh, he had that kind of truck or whatever it is. But there's a lot with that. His dad, he's telling me to say his dad talks to him every day. So he needs to know that he hears him, because our loved ones do hear him, but he's like, I'm trying to answer my dad, but he's so busy talking that he's not hearing the response. But there's a lot of love and he's right next to him.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Hi, Michelle, and thank you for what you do. We know there is a spirit visiting our home. Can you please tell us who it is and what's their message?
Yeah. So this, to me, the spirit that's visiting actually feels like it's going to be a grandmother type energy. So when I say grandmother energy, it doesn't necessarily mean biological grandma. It could be like your favorite aunt who was more of a grandmother or whatever, but a grandmother type energy coming in. And this is kind of like, I want to say it's about enjoying life more. So you're going to notice some interesting things. I feel like you put your glasses on one side of the counter and you come out later and they're on the other, or different things like that. There's a prankster kind of fun energy with this, but it's like, get busy living, get busy laughing again, really kind of stop and smell the roses is the energy with this spirit.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Can you please tell me what my husband is doing in the heavenly realm? Is he learning a new skill, teaching others, sending love and gratitude for all you do? Thanks, Denise.
Yeah, absolutely. So Denise, his energy, like he's kind of funny. He's like, well, I'm doing it all. I do it all. He gives me a lot of energy around my hands. So I don't know if he was very hands-on in life or fix-it type of guy in life, but my hands are literally tingling and hot right now. So I want to say he is learning new skills, but he is still very much connected to you and the people he loves that are here. He's also showing me things like, I don't know, like energy of flying. So I want to say I'm seeing airplanes. So when we get to go to that heavenly realm, we get to learn more and we get to understand more. He's also understanding more about, he's telling me to say, family healing or family trauma. So understanding like more about his own lineage and how he got to where he is. But he's got a great sense of humor. I feel like he has a laugh that takes up the whole room because I can just feel this energy of him coming out. So just know that I feel like he is also going to comedy shows and doing all of this stuff. His vibration is really high. And he does a lot to be around you. He's giving me sounds like doorbells ringing, dings like that. Pay attention because you're going to hear these things. These are one of many ways he lets you know he's around.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Hello, I am wondering about an upcoming trip to Spain. Is this just a vacation or will I end up moving somewhere in Europe? I will be celebrating 10 years at my job soon.
I love that for you. So I feel like this is just going to be a vacation. The way the guides are showing it to me, this is going to plant the seeds. So you're kind of like going on vacation this time, but then you're going to get there and you're going to be like, could I do it? How would I want to do it? Is this where I'd want to be? So this is the time where you're planting the seeds. I would not be surprised at all if you end up moving to Europe, but it doesn't feel like it's in 2026. But this is a really fertile ground for you to plant these seeds in.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. I recently decided to paint and try to survive now by selling them. I painted Jimi Hendrix and was fascinated. What can you see of the true cause of his death? Did his manager arrange it?
Wow. Here's the thing. I'm kind of laughing because I've never been asked to look into that before, but there's certainly a good story behind it. That's what I will tell you. And I wouldn't be surprised. There's other people involved. So this is not, this was not just on him. I will say that. I don't know who it is because I'm not diving into it that deep right now, but definitely other people involved. So one of the things I want to say to you about your painting, and when you are painting people, you're almost channeling their soul or channeling information about them. So if you decide to go paint Marilyn Monroe or whoever you want to paint, I feel like you're going to kind of get some information and some downloads because you're literally tapping into the energy of that soul. And when you're being creative and in that painting mode, moving your hands, the information is going to flow in. So it'll be interesting to see what else you get as you move along with this journey.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question says, hi, thanks for helping so many. My dog, Miska, came to me in a special way and shares my deceased dad's birthday. I feel she may have some connection to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for thanking me and you're welcome. And absolutely she does, right? So not random that they have the same birthday because to me, I feel like she's kind of a gift from your dad. So whether your dad was still alive when you found her or not, here's the thing. His soul knew that he was going to be leaving at a certain point in time and that she was going to be able to be there and give you this unconditional love during the process of grief and rebuilding, after his transition. And so there's absolutely a soul connection between the three of you. She's also very much aware of when your dad's around. So for all of us, just so you know, if you have cats and dogs and horses and whatever you have as animals, these beautiful creatures know when spirit's around. No one's told them they can't know, right? So as kids, we're conditioned, well, that's your imaginary friend. There's no one there and all of these things. But we don't know that these kids aren't really seeing their life guides and their angels and, all of these other things. Animals see it. Nobody's ever told them they can't. So this beautiful dog is going to also help you stay connected to your dad.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Do I have any messages from my beloved husband, Barry, in the heavenly realm, or Mother Mary, or Saint Mary Magdalene?
Oh, wow. That's a big one. So, I think, with Barry, there's a couple things that I want to say. He's kind of like, he's got this good sense of energy around him. What I want to use words like charismatic. Like I feel like he walks in and he takes over the room. I feel like everybody's like, who's that? That's kind of the energy he's coming in with. So please know that he is being very supportive around you, but also really trying to help, I want to say, smooth out your future or smooth out your future plans. So whatever it is, there are some decisions that you're getting ready to make right now. I feel like I'm back and forth, and he's showing me he's going to help you pick the right one for you. The other energy from, I would say, Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, it's almost like they're coming in with one voice. And that is like, don't ever underestimate how much you are loved or how much the people that you love and the love that you show in this world has a huge, huge ripple effect. You're very supported and guided on this journey, and you do a great job of what they're saying, acting and responding from a place of love.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Hi, my pendulum is telling me that I will remain in Florida for 3 months. Do you see any timeline unfolding for my return to New York?
Yeah, I'm feeling like we're going late summer or fall. So I think your pendulum's being accurate with you on that, because I feel like it's more around September at some point in time. There, I want to use the words healing. There's like more healing that needs to happen in Florida. So whatever is going on there for you, this doesn't feel physical, but more mental or emotional or whatever issues are coming up in your mind. I feel like those are going to need some of that beautiful sunshine and water to help them alleviate. But I feel like around September is where you head back.
Thanks, Michelle. And I just want to read this comment from one of our members that was shared. They said, I had such an amazing, great experience in a reading from Michelle. It's been life-changing in the best possible way. She connected with my husband in the most incredible and completely loving way.
Oh, well, thank you for that. It's always an honor and a pleasure to get to read for people. It really is.
And then here's a follow-up comment from a question we read earlier. And they said, I hear tapping in my walls every day when you were talking about the loved ones sending messages. So I always love that.
Yeah, I love that too. Thanks for sharing, everyone. I guess we're wrapping it up now, right?
We do have some questions left, but I would encourage you to jump on next week and ask your questions early, because we can't always get to all the questions. And if you're a member, we will read your questions first. I'm always scrolling to make sure we answer those members' questions no matter what. So thank you so much for joining today.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I'm wishing you a wonderful week ahead filled with love. Look for love all around you, but also give yourself the love and compassion that you deserve. So wishing you a great week. Thanks so much, Heather. And thank you, Aiden. Have a great week, everyone.